Welcome to Leadership Matters, a podcast from the Bailey Group. I'm your host, Kaylee Thompson, president of and partner at the Bailey Group, where we believe better leaders create healthier workplace environments, healthier humans, and a better world. On this show, we explore real stories, practical insights, and honest conversations to help you lead yourself and others better. Thanks for joining us. Let's dive in. Welcome back to Leadership Matters. Today, I've got the joy of sitting down with the one and only Princess Paula.
In the house.
Welcome to the house.
Yeah.
It's so good to have you here.
This is really exciting. I'm excited. We already talked. I'm excited about your questions. It's a beautiful setup. It's a great day. I am ready.
And you've got your monster in hand.
I am fully caffeinated. Look out, friends.
Well, I thought it was interesting because we're recording at 1:45, a little behind the scenes here, and I have to cut caffeine at noon. So I don't know what your caffeine policy is.
I start my monsters in the afternoon, so I usually save it for anywhere around like 1 or 2 o'clock to help get me through the afternoon.
Sure.
And I can sleep. Like when I hit the pillow, doesn't matter. Sometimes I'll even have one later in the day.
Really?
Because it's my little pick-me-up. And I keep trying to get Monster to sponsor me.
Yeah.
Peach Monsters are just, I take one a day.
Wow.
Like a vitamin.
Yep.
And I cannot get them to sponsor me. So if you're listening, Monster, now's your chance before I get really big and you come to me.
And I was going to say, now's the time. Plus, I already feel like you're pretty big. I got to be honest.
Oh, just wait.
You're just getting started.
Yeah, I literally had this conversation with someone yesterday because I hold everything open-handed. So I'm in a place where if things got really big and I made it big, great. And if this is as big as it's ever going to get, great. I'm happy with whatever it is because I'm having fun.
Yeah.
And I don't have aspirations where I want to take over the world.
So neat.
But if that happens, I'm here for the ride.
I love how you talk about you're having fun, and I can just tell that's such a core value of yours, and it's effervescent. Like I can feel that from the first time that we ever met, which we talked about. You had talked at an event that I went to. It was like a 2 or 2.5 hour presentation, and I could just feel your energy. And I love how you talked about half the jokes you tell for your own sake. And I could tell. I mean, I was with you 100% of the time.
I'm just having fun. And to me, they're like little hidden gems and jokes that I'm saying because a lot of times I'll think something or I'll say something and I make myself laugh.
Yeah.
And so I'm just kind of laughing and having fun. And when someone can keep up and come along with me, kind of go, did she say what I think she just said? And that's actually really funny. Then it's even more fun because it's like a little secret. It's like we're a secret club and people are coming along. But
oh, so good. So good. So I'm curious, Paula, as I was preparing for today's episode, I thought, I don't even know how to introduce this eclectic, unique woman. How would you, what feels most true and authentic to you when people ask the question, the age-old question of, so tell me about yourself?
Yeah. And so the easiest thing for me is I like to say, if you put a microphone in my hand, I'm happy. So whether it's like professional speaking, my AI training, the emceeing, I love to MC and host events or podcasting. Like essentially, if you put a microphone in my hand, that's where I'm most comfortable. And whether it's in front of 5 or 5,000, it doesn't matter to me. I can just, give me a topic. I'll get up and start talking to people about whatever topic you give me.
How did you first discover that about yourself?
I know. And this has been coming up a lot lately. People have been asking me this, and I can literally say I came out of the womb this way. I have a photo of me when I was probably about 5 or 6 years old, and I'm standing on a dining room chair with my cousin, who I used to rope into everything. And I'm standing on a dining room chair at a family gathering, and I'm singing or I'm performing for everybody. So it's just what I've always done.
Wow.
And then it's a combination of, I have a teaching degree, so I'm used to being in front of people teaching, but I've always been a bit of a performer. So as a professional musician, someone who likes to sing, I'm very comfortable in front of a crowd. So everything is just kind of melded together where I love to entertain people. I'm very comfortable in front of people and I just want to help them learn something. And it's made me who I am today.
I love the thread of both performing and entertaining and also learning and this teaching degree. It's a beautiful way to kind of pull all of that together.
And it's interesting you say that as well, because I think we've come to a place in time where with Reels, TikTok, all of the things, everything has become entertainment and short form video, keeping people looped in. So I feel in a way that as a person that's in front of others, I have to be a little bit of that. And okay, so what I often say is people are a little bit burned out on the corporate meeting, training. So my philosophy is if I don't want to be there,
Yeah.
nobody else wants to be there.
So good.
So if I'm having fun, then I know other people are having fun. And if we're going to pull people away from their desk or their inbox or whatever it is, you have to make it both fun, like entertaining and educational. And that is my philosophy. Whether I'm hosting an event or I'm like whatever I'm doing, let's have fun. Let's laugh because you can actually be learning at the same time that you're laughing.
I love that. And actually, the best learning happens when it's a deeply immersive experience and you're engaging multiple senses in that.
Mm-hmm. I was speaking yesterday for a government entity. I'll just say that. It's a large government entity. So I was a little nervous going in because I was like, oh, government. Ooh, scary. And it's always really fun because you can tell all these people, it was their second day back into the office and they were like, oh, we have to go to this training. We're going to this AI training. So I find it really comical because people come into these things going, oh, AI training, boring, snooze fest. And then I show up, plus with Monster Energy drink. I'm bringing that kind of energy. And people are just like, what is happening right now? And at the end, I just watched the comments online or whatnot. People were just like, what did we just experience? Like, what even was that? Like, you're welcome.
Wow. So I'm picturing you at 5 or 6 years old on your dining room chair performing for your family. What were your aspirations at that time? What did you want to be when you grew up?
You are the only one that's ever asked me this. I wanted to be a rock star so bad. In fact, so we had this fireplace in our house and it had like just a little mantle that was a few feet off of the floor. Beautiful. It was made of amethyst. So my dad built the house and this fireplace was made of like quartz amethyst. Beautiful. And back in the day in the 70s when they built the house, it had these 2 red spotlights on the front. So I would stand on this little, it was my stage growing up. So like this little short little mantle, little ledge. And I would stand there with a hairbrush or whatever, red lights on, everything else off, putting on 8 tracks and singing. And I was going to be a star.
Wow.
Like I wanted the records, the tour, the fame. I wanted to be everything until I got old enough. So most of my life, that was it. When people ask me, what are you going to do? I'm like, I'm going to be a rock star. I'm gonna be a famous singer. And my parents would always say, better have another plan because that means you're going to be poor. And once I got into university, I started to realize a little more that life, although it seems glamorous, it's not fun. You don't see a lot of famous people that are really happy.
Yeah. Wow.
They have no privacy. They often end up taking routes and, getting into things, get addictions. And so I was like, oh, maybe that's not such a good idea. So I got a teaching degree because my mom always said, you'd make a good teacher. So I got a teaching degree.
Wow.
And I've had a little taste of that even from a music perspective where, I've been at places where I get recognized a little bit more and I would go out in public and people would know who I was. And I was like, I don't know if I like that. Because I like putting on sweatpants and my hair in a ponytail and no makeup and being able to run to the store without someone saying, aren't you?
Yeah. Fascinating.
Yeah.
Who did you look up to? You want to be a rock star. You love singing and entertaining.
Oh, that's a great question. Who did I want to be like?
Who was the ideal?
Okay, not a fair question, only because I had a really good upbringing where I listened to a lot of good music.
Yeah.
So I wasn't just a fan of whoever was popular at the time. Like I was raised on, Elton John and, Fleetwood Mac or CCR. And like my parents used to listen to really good music.
Yeah.
So I had all of that. Plus my family are Italian immigrants. So I had Italian music weaved into that and all of the polka music and I could dance all the things. So TBD.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
That's fascinating. To me, it speaks to, I think you have such an eclectic background and I really appreciate and admire that about you. And it's almost like you wanted to be the most true version of yourself, which is kind of an eclectic mix of all these different inspirational sources in your life.
Okay, we also have to add into, the fact that, so where I grew up, I'm Canadian and I come from this town, Thunder Bay, Ontario. I love my hometown. But everybody was an immigrant kid. So like I said, my parents were from Italy, and we all knew who, like all my friends I knew who was Polish, who was Finnish, not too many Finns, all the Italians, the Ukrainians, like
Wow.
we all knew where each other was from. And Canada is so multicultural that even growing up in elementary school, we used to have our like multicultural fairs where we'd all bring in food from our countries and dress in that way. But even being Italian, um, I'm both Northern and Southern Italian, but I had some friends that are only Northern Italian and they would make fun of me for being Southern Italian. Like we all knew,
Yep.
which is why truly coming to the States, I was just so used to growing up where you knew everyone's cultures, you knew where they were from, what kind of foods they liked, eating those foods. So I just think everything is super interesting. I want to know people's story. I want to know what they're all about. And I find people fascinating and really interesting.
And multi-layered and
Yeah, everybody has a great story, and I want to know people's story and what are you about and what interests you and what cool things can you teach me?
that's so neat. And back to the teaching point, you go to college, you realize at what I think is a fairly young age, maybe the life of the rich and famous is not all it's cracked up
It's
to.
a lot harder to do than people think. You can't just go become a famous rock star. Apparently, it's a little harder than I thought.
And there's a lot of downsides with it that I don't think are as talked about or seen, or certainly, I think there's a lot of people that want to make it big and become famous, and there's so many more avenues to do it now with these barriers locked down. But you realize, maybe the rock star thing isn't for me. You go and get a teaching degree. Where do you go from there?
I got married. I'm just like, oh my gosh. So that was the other thing, as I just thought, I just want to get married, have kids, and homeschool them. Not a bad thing. Not a bad thing. But, so then I make the switch to, I just want to be a mom. I shouldn't say never just, because parenting is the hardest job in the world. Hardest job, hands down. So I was kind of like I went to university to get a degree so I'd have something to fall back on, because I wanted to get married, become a wife and mother, and raise my kid.
Sure.
But it was this whole thing. Again, I'm so thankful. I can look back now and realize a lot of the things my mom gave me without knowing it at the time, because for her, not only her generation, but as an immigrant woman, someone who didn't go to college, but she became a super successful realtor, like very, very successful.
Wow.
And watching her navigate being a professional woman. So for her, like once she realized that I wanted to be a mom, and I was like, I want to be a stay-at-home mom, raise my kids. And she said, go get a degree so you always have something to fall back on. And I just thought, yeah, whatever. You don't know anything, right? As we so often do. But I'm really, really glad, because having that education and having that background ended up being really valuable. Although, I came out of university, I met an American online. That's how I ended up in the States.
Wow.
So I was literally 2 months away from graduating from university, and it was at the dawn of the internet.
Literally, where do you meet someone at the dawn of the internet?
Like 1996, the original chat room, like the OG AOL chat room.
No way.
And down in my basement, and there was a snowstorm, and I was stuck inside, and I get online, and I meet my husband. And he's like in the military in Florida, and we were in a chat room and start chatting. Okay, I would not suggest this to anybody. So this is January. We meet in January. March on my spring break, I fly down to Florida. He's just coming in from a Navy deployment. We meet. He proposes. I say yes. Bad idea.
That first trip.
Oh, okay. Not smart. Anyone listening to this, the advice I can give you of the things not to do. Oh, okay. Not smart.
This is your first time ever meeting each other in person. He proposes.
Yes. Oh, the regrets. Ladies and gentlemen, the regret. Pull up a chair. There's so much regret. But yet it's experience. It's life stories.
Yeah.
So this is March.
Wow.
We're married in May. No, wait. We waited a year because he was still in the military.
Okay.
So from the time we got engaged to 1 year later when we got married, we only ever spent a total, add them all up, a total of 5 weeks together in person. Big mistakes, folks. And I can tell you this. So I'm not telling stories out of school. Anyone that knows me knows this. On a day we get married, we got married in a military chapel down in Florida. So dumb. Whatever. It's life. We got married and we walk across the street. We get married in the military chapel. We walk across the street for a reception, and I go into the bathroom with my sister and my best friend, and I looked at them and I went, what have I just done? And they were like, what do we do? But whatever. It's life. Life is just full of experiences.
Wow. How old are you at this time?
23?
And your grand plan is get married, have kids, homeschool them.
There we go. So
step 1's done.
Yep. So then I was pregnant within 6 months. We move up to Minnesota.
Wow.
And I started having my kids and I was homeschooling them and all was well. Not really. It really wasn't well. But you got to just make the most sometimes of what life gives you because life isn't always going to be fun or easy or what we expect.
Yes.
But a lot of it's our attitude.
Yes.
And so I was homeschooling kids. And unfortunately, 10 years later, he decided I wasn't the one. He no longer wanted to be married to me. So then I became a single mom. And for a while I was single mom, figuring out how to do this. And it was a good thing I had that teaching degree.
Yes. I was just thinking.
Because I was able to fall back on the teaching degree.
Wow.
Just never know. I think life is a choose your own adventure. Have you ever read those books where it's like, if you want to do this, go here. If you want to do this, turn to this page.
Yes.
And life is a series of choose your own adventures where we're constantly going, what am I going to choose today? And you choose one thing and it takes you one way.
Yes.
Choose something else and you end up in a totally different place. And you just never know where it's going to take you.
Yeah.
And that's life.
So take us back to that season. You're spending 10 years homeschooling your kids in this marriage. What was that experience like for you?
It was hard in the fact that life didn't necessarily look how I wanted. My marriage really wasn't what I wanted, but the community I was in was fantastic. I loved living it was Duluth, Minnesota. We lived for years and then eventually through way of North Carolina ended up in the Twin Cities. And I had such an amazing community. I had such good friends. I had other friends that were homeschooling their kids. Faith is a really big deal to me. So being involved at church, as a musician, I've always led worship at the churches I've been at. So I had these really great communities and I wouldn't trade that for the world. And, even homeschooling the kids, my gosh, I just love being a mom. I love that time with my kids. I miss that a lot sometimes. But it's just, you're kind of figuring out who you are and you're growing and you're navigating life. And yeah.
So what did you learn about yourself from that season?
Oh, what a good question. I feel like this just got really serious really quick. What did I learn about myself? I learned that I made a really big mistake that first time and that I should listen to my friends more. Because I did have people that know me and love me that were pulling me aside going, Paula, do you really think you should do this?
Wow.
So I learned, okay, I need to really listen to my friends and trust my friends that when they're speaking into my life, you have to have at least one person who knows you well enough and who you'll let tell you the truth. That's really important. Even if you give someone permission, say like, I just give you permission to tell me the hard stuff and be honest with me when I need to hear it. We all need those people.
Yeah.
Otherwise we can make some really dumb choices. Gosh, what did I learn about myself? TBD. Come back to that one again. That's a good question.
I just love how you talked about how life is a choose your own adventure and you learn. It's all about learning. And, my story is I'm a recovering perfectionist and there's a lot of paralysis analysis that comes with that. And giving myself the permission to make mistakes has been life-changing because otherwise you stay really small and you stay in a box.
Okay, I feel that. I want to just yes and amen alongside with you because I'm in the same place. And in fact, a phrase that I heard recently that I hold on to is done is better than perfect.
So good.
It's the only thing that saves me half the time because I will almost get into a loop where it's like, I got to make it perfect. It's like, Paula, stop. Done is better than perfect.
Yes.
This is okay. And knowing that my 80%, sorry, folks, but my 80% is probably the same with you. Our 80% is better than most people's 100.
Yeah.
And that's what saves me sometimes. Otherwise, you're just trying to get that. Okay, so you just reminded me of something. In the midst of that 10 years that I was married the first time, he actually served me with divorce papers the first time when my daughter was born. And when my youngest was born, she almost died. I almost died. It was this traumatic thing. And he was serving me with papers. And like kind of going through some of these things in life has helped me realize how strong I am and how you can just get through things. It almost doesn't matter how hard things are. It's amazing what we can get through and survive.
That's incredible. Thank you for sharing that.
And I mean, we all know it's cliche, but people say you've survived 100% of the hardest days you've experienced so far. And sometimes we just have to remember, like, I can get through hard things.
Mhm.
And it becomes part of our story. And okay, so here's the other thing. One of the things I remembered through that, and then when I went through the actual divorce, was I can remember in these moments, again, as a person of faith, in those moments, just feeling like, okay, God, what's the deal? Where are you? You're not helping. I've done all these things. I've tried to be a good person. Where are you? Why aren't you helping me? And I used to have this mental picture of treading water and being in like a big ocean, and I'm just treading water and I'm barely keeping my head above the waves and I'm just barely there. And that it's like Jesus was in a canoe beside me on the water. And I'm just like treading water going, can you help me out? Like, I know you could just pull me into the canoe at any moment. You could just save me and pull me. Like, can you just help me out? And I so distinctly remember him just saying, no, because as you're treading water, you're getting really strong leg muscles and really strong arm muscles that you're going to need for something later. But I'm right here. I've got you. I'm not going to let you drown. But you got to just keep treading water because you're going to need those muscles for later on. And I hated that. But yet now I get it because there's been so many times in life where the muscles that I got have helped me through. Even like now as a business owner, there are times as I'm trying to figure out how to run a business where it's like, what am I thinking? But I have the muscles
Yeah.
to help me keep going.
Yeah.
Even though it's hard, I can still keep doing it. Look, we got all serious and introspective.
I just got goosebumps. That was an incredible metaphor.
It has gotten me through so many times because in those moments, and I think that's what happens sometimes, people think if you are like, if you do believe in God or if you, wherever you stand, that it's some magical, mystical power that we just call out and say, all right, come help me, save me, fix this. And it's like an abracadabra. He's just going to do his thing. But that's not where the fix is.
Yeah.
The fix is that he's there with us and he's walking through with us and getting us through it.
Yeah.
But the fix isn't just saving us from the hard.
Yeah.
Because we need the hard in life to find out who we are.
To find out who we are and to build the muscles, as you talked about, the skills, the capabilities, the confidence and competence that we can get ourselves through these situations.
I think there's this misconception, and I'm going to say like North America in general, because obviously if I just say American, Western, we have this misconception that the ideal life and the perfect life is feel good, no hurt, no pain.
Yes.
And we've been sold this lie that if there's no pain or discomfort, then you're doing good. And that's the life. That's what we're striving for. I don't know where we came up with that, if that was sold to us, because then we'll buy all the things to make us really happy and comfortable. So there is no pain or discomfort. But that's not the deal at all.
Yes.
It's we're going to have pain, period. Full stop.
Yes.
It's how are we going to get through it?
Yeah.
And what's our mentality going to be? What's our community going to be? Like, how are we going to get through it? Because there's going to be hard.
Yeah. So how did you get through those seasons? I mean, you talk about these seasons, and I will just tell you, my face lit up as you were talking about this metaphor of being in the ocean and feeling the waves like coming over your face, and you're just barely, because I have used that so many.
Really? Look at it's like we're kindred. We're two sides of the same coin. I love that.
As recently as like a week ago.
Because there are moments, there are seasons. Sometimes it's a long season and we're just trying to get through the next hour.
Yes.
Okay, we could go in a lot of directions with this because one of the things that I just started sharing, okay, I'm not trying to promote myself because I don't like when people do that, but I have a new keynote that I've started doing when I go around. And in that, I start sharing a struggle that I've always had because I've always struggled with wanting to end my own life. My entire life, it's been something that's there. And I'm sharing it now just because for people to understand that, you know, someone can look at me and be like, oh, she's so happy and outgoing, but know that there are these struggles that people are dealing with all the time. So, and I say that because in the midst of all that, like when I was going through the divorce the first time, version 1.0, and then when it was actually happening, it was hard. Like it was just really, really hard. But again, I had a good community. My best friend in the whole world, we have matching tattoos. I adore her.
Mm.
When I was going through my divorce, I called her. She was, thousands of miles away. I called her and I said, I just got served with divorce papers. She's like, I'll be there tomorrow.
Mm.
She jumped on a plane and came right to me. So having those people in my life where they're like, we got you, we're there, is huge.
Yeah.
And just the whole, like when you're a mom with kids, and all moms know this, there are days you don't want to get out of bed, but you do because you have kids to feed and kids to look after. It's amazing how our children save us
Yeah.
from ourselves. And there's a lot of days where it's because of our kids and because we have to look after them. They are what keep us going.
That's powerful. So what do you do when those kids that save us from ourselves, or I often talk about how my kids have absolutely transformed the person that I am today because they've called me up to a much higher version of myself. Man, I had to look at myself with some of the things that were happening. And I felt like I had my stuff together. I was very successful in the work world. And then I have these little agents of chaos that I'm raising. And I've got 3, 6 and under.
You've got some good things. I'm like writing these down because you've got some nuggets here that I'm like, oh, I'm totally borrowing that.
Well, and again, as a recovering perfectionist, and I would say somebody who's, had some struggles with control here and there in my life, you sure realize there's a lot outside your control when these little agents of chaos are. So I'm often thinking about how I feel I'm living the best years of my life right now. I feel that in my bones, and it's hard and exhausting, and I feel pulled, and I feel like I'm in that ocean with the waves coming over me, and I also recognize like these are some of the best years of our lives. I feel that. I'm curious, because I believe your kids have
They're all grown up.
How did you navigate that transition?
Terrible. Okay, here is the problem. Listen, Paul, I feel like solve all the problems of the world. We do not prepare people for things. We do not adequately prepare people for parenthood. There should be something, a group, a class, something. Then we don't prepare you for empty nest, and we don't prepare women for menopause. There are like these key moments in life that there should be some kind of preemptive, hey, here's what you need to know, start preparing.
Yes.
So for empty nesting, the best thing is my husband now, we've been married for 16 years. He's my best friend. I adore him. I had no idea it could be this good. I had no idea it could be this good. If it wasn't for him, I think things would look a lot different because we were a blended family. So when we got together, we had no time alone. So now that the kids are gone, I have them all to myself, and it is awesome. And I just love that we can date and hang out and do all the things. But I still cry. Like there are just days where I miss my kids needing me, and it's a real adjustment kind of going, how do you parent adult children? Where do you insert yourself and where do you don't? So we're learning, and you just apologize sometimes for things. But we have a really, really good relationship with 2 of our kids. How deep do you want to go? How much time do we have? That's a whole other thing. So our youngest child, the one that almost died, the youngest one, 2 years ago, almost to the last week, cut us off. And we've had no contact with her. She moved away, cut us off, and went, estranged, I suppose it is. So that's a whole other thing that we're dealing with and navigating. But the ones that are still here, super close. We do family dinners every other week. I just booked the place we're going to go for our vacation. We do a family vacation every year, and we all go together, and we have so much fun. They still come home for Christmas, and they spend the night Christmas Eve so they can wake up at our house on Christmas Day. And I love it.
That's amazing. And it evolves as the humans evolve.
Yeah.
I mean, I think often about how we parent now has already evolved in the 6 years we've been parents, and will continue to evolve as the little humans continue to evolve.
Yeah. And there's just, because when they're, what do they say? When they're little, they're physically exhausting because you're running around them all the time. When they become teenagers, they're emotionally exhausting. That's just like a whole different kind of stress. And then once they become young adults, like we've had to move into this more of a coaching role than anything else, where we're just on the sidelines. And it's extra special, unique because, well, the 3 kids, my 2 sons and my daughter-in-law, they all work with my husband.
You're kidding.
So they're in different departments, but they work at the same place. So we have some really unique nuances to our family, but I love my kids. Even the one that doesn't talk to us. If you ever see this, I love you. But
What would you tell the one that doesn't talk to you?
oh my gosh. Well, a lot of times I will call and just like leave random voicemails, or I'll just do things even though they may or may not ever get through. But I'm always just like, I miss you. This made me think of you.
Mm.
I love you. It's just the constant, like, I love you no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something that, okay. So that is why I'm going to loop things back here. With my whole Be the Ferrari, the reason why for Princess Paula, my tagline is we treat everyone like royalty. And that comes from the whole thing of, again, me always struggling with like suicide, wanting to take my life. So I want to make sure there's never anyone else that I encounter that doesn't feel loved or seen or valued,
Wow.
because I know what it's like to feel that way. So same with my kids. So even for the one that doesn't want anything to do with us right now, you got to know that I love you no matter what. I love you no matter what. So anytime that you're ready to turn things around, doors open. I love you no matter what.
Powerful. Was there a formative experience that you had when you felt deeply seen and deeply known?
Not until now. It's my husband. My husband has loved me well. And my best friend, the one that flew up. When I first met her, I knew she was my people.
Tell us the origin story.
Oh,
Did you
okay.
first
So
meet her?
fun story. Oh, Winnie and I, we love telling our story. So this is when I had met my husband. He was in the Navy. I went down spring break, March of 1996. He was gone. He wasn't even there. I didn't even go down to see him. I went down to hang out with some other Navy people and meet people. And I meet Terry, my best friend's fiance at the time. So he was down there. We were in Mayport, Florida. He happened to be in there, and he's like, oh, I'm driving north to North Carolina to see my fiance. Do you want to come with? I'm like, sure, because I'm in college, and it's just like, you're just living your best life.
Choose your own adventure.
There you go. So I was like, okay, sounds good. So I jump in a car with him to drive 6 hours north to go and see Winnie. Now, Winnie has never met me or heard of me or knows anything. All she knows is her fiance's in a car with another girl, like another woman, driving alone. So by the time we get up to Charlotte, it's like 12, whatever, 1 in the morning. She's mad. Like, she's angry. She's just like, what are you doing? And so I just remember kind of getting out of the car, saying a quick hello to her, and then going right into the guest room of her house. And they stayed up arguing. And the next day, when her and I finally met, I was just like, hi. It was one of those instant best friends, like instant kindred spirit. I met her and we were just like, best friends.
Wow.
And we've been together ever since. Like, so we met, and then she got married later that year, and I came down for her wedding, and I sang at her wedding, and then she was one of my bridesmaids. She was one of the ones that was in the bathroom when I said, what have I just done? And we have just stayed connected over the years, like watching each other as kids grow. We go and visit each other. Like I said, we have matching tattoos. Like, she's just, I have 3 best friends. I have 3 people who, if the world fell apart, I would call them. None of them live here. Thanks, you guys. But she is one of them.
Wow.
And she's just always been there. And we have the history. I think that's another thing. People that you have history with. And these are people that when I started my business, they were like, yeah, you're going to go and be successful and be huge. Like, go, what's taking you so long?
Yeah.
They're my cheerleaders.
People that see you and believe in you.
But Winnie saw that. Like, she understood the hurt and she could see the hurt. And I feel so loved and accepted by her no matter what. Even more so than my husband. Sorry, babe. He knows that. I've told him that before, that I have these 2 best friends who I know they love me unconditionally.
Yeah.
And that's huge.
Wow. Incredible. How do you maintain long distance friendships?
Oh my gosh. Drives me nuts because my one best friend just moved to Fiji. Thanks, Marla. So Marco Polo. Literally, we send Marco Polos to each other, and they're awful at responding. I'm calling them out. I am like the goodest friend to have, because if you call me or text me, I'm going to respond right away. My friend Winnie, I love Winnie. I cannot tell you how many times I text her and I hear nothing for ages because she's so bad at responding. And then Marla, she's a lot better, but she's in Fiji. So the whole time change thing it's hard because I want to go on girls' weekends and I want to go and hang out. And I want to just call and talk. And it's been a struggle.
Have you ever lived in the same city or area as either of them?
Yeah. So when I was first married, Winnie and I lived together and we were dangerous together. Oh my gosh. Like Walmart runs at 1 a.m. when we're just being silly and goofy. And I just adore her. So we had a short stint when we lived together. And for Marla and I, we were like in college and our early years together. And then we went our separate ways.
Wow, fascinating.
Yeah.
So I want to make a hard pivot here. I first came into contact with you because someone on our team, Victor Thompson, recommended me going to this International Coaching Federation event that was all about AI, which is all the rage right now. And that's why I had the wonderful opportunity to meet you and see you in your unique zone of genius presenting.
Zone of genius. So good.
I'm curious, how did you first get introduced to the world of AI and what was your kind of initial reaction to it? And how did that parlay into a very successful career of first understanding it better than almost anybody that I know? And I know that you probably have plenty of humility around that, but seriously, your passion and your knowledge is incredible. So I want to hear the origin story of that.
Yeah. And I literally fell into AI, but not technology. So I always dated computer geeks.
Okay.
Always. So I was just always surrounded by computer geeks in high school and just kind of ended up learning about a lot of stuff because I was around it all the time. So actually, my husband was also highly into computers. So I tell people the story. When I was 6 months pregnant with my oldest, I was building computers. I was working at a computer company with my ex at the time, and I was like building computers. And so I had enough knowledge where I knew what was going on.
Wow.
Because I always hung around with tech people, I understood it. Like in high school, we would use BBS systems and be talking to each other across the, kind of, I don't let a lot of people know how techie I am because I don't want them being like, can you fix my things? No. Smart. I always loved the technology. So fast forward as part of my career, like I've worked for software companies, writing software manuals, doing help desk, and then I even became a trainer. So because I had that teaching in my background, once I started learning technology, I know my superpowers and I have the ability to be able to take all the concepts of software technology and explain it to the average person in a way they understand, but also to be able to turn around and look at the tech people and say, here's what they need and speak their language. So I know how to now sit in that space and talk to both sides because of this experience I've had and who I surrounded myself with. So always been super comfortable with technology. I can figure out a software really quick and go, oh, now I know how to explain it to everyone so they can use it. And I've done that for school districts where I'll teach like all the custodians or the staff how to use software that they need. So love that. So that's kind of my background of coming up with technology, knowing it, loving it, understanding it. So then I encountered AI and I just stopped and went, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Everyone needs to know about this. And so it's like just having your hands and you just kind of look around and go, oh, okay, I need to get this in everyone's hands. Like everyone needs to get this and knowing, oh, I'm the right person for this because I know how to break it down so it's not scary. You're not worried about it. Having the ability to make people feel comfortable with technology and let them know you're not going to break the internet. Like you're not going to break things. It's totally fine. Let's just do this. So I'm having so much fun because a lot of it just makes sense to me. I'm surrounding myself with all the people. I'm reading and learning as much as I can. And then just saying, all right, who wants this? So I really believe like this is the next wave, right? We had the internet, we've had cell phones, and now we have AI. It's kind of like the next technological revolution that we're going through.
So I know you're an eternal optimist. How do you feel about the world of AI? There's so much conversation around it, and there's a lot of concern around it. I'm curious, world according to Paula, what's your take on all of it?
I think a lot of the concerns that people have, they're not wrong. It's like a lot of things in life that we're going to have to figure out how to balance it, right? With every time there's a big change in the world, technology, whether it's cars, whatever it is, we have to figure out this dance. And there will always be some people that say, no, I want nothing to do with it. Like, even people that don't want a microwave. All right. They just kind of say, that's my boundary. And then there's other people that's, my house is fully automated. Great. Everyone's going to figure out what their comfort level is and what they want. So I think first and foremost, like that's what it comes down to. You get to decide. I teach, train, love technology, but there are a lot of things that I don't use it for. I still love a pen and paper, or I'll go and do other things. So even for me at times, it's a little bit of a contradiction within myself. I think we're in a pendulum right now that has swung, and we're going to balance out. So I always say, like, everyone just relax. It's going to level out. It always does. And it's going to find its spot. I'm old enough to remember when the internet came along and how people panicked and freaked out. And what is this? And what does this mean? We're going to lose jobs, all this. And things happened. And then now we just know how life looks and feels with the internet.
Yeah.
And we figured out how to do it. Right now, AI is still new enough that people are just like, what does this mean? And what's it got? And what about all these things? There's going to be some good and bad, because there's always people that figure out how to manipulate things and do bad things with it. But we as humans will figure out how to make this a part of our life and make it okay.
Yeah. What are your biggest concerns when it comes to AI?
What are my biggest concerns? I think people need to understand it's a tool. And when they're not looking at it as a tool, that's where I see people getting really hyped up and really excited. Concerns. I am getting to the point already when I can look at things that come on my feed or whatever I'm looking at, and I can usually tell pretty quickly if it's AI.
Yeah.
But there are still some where I can't, and that's where I have a concern, because I'm very much about being genuine
Yeah.
and transparent and very real. And I'm seeing stuff already. I'm like, oh, I thought that was real, and I'm pretty sure that's AI. Oh, I'm pretty sure that's AI. And that just kind of rubs me like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Have you seen those clips on social media where it's like
Oh,
real or AI?
Like the bunnies on the trampoline or the different things. Yeah. And sometimes I'm just like, oh, I think they just got me. I thought that was real. So I think we're coming into a time where it's going to be really hard to tell. And that's going to be, like, there's so often I'm looking at videos now. I'm just scrolling. So I'm like, I don't even know if that's real. If I can't tell it's real, I don't want to know. But maybe it'll push us back to having more connection with each other.
I wonder about that too. I mean, I know I had our founder Lee Bailey on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, and we talked about AI and the disruption, and how at the heart of organizations are humans and the need for human connection. I mean, you spent a lot of time talking about how it has literally changed your life, some of these relationships that you've had with people. And to me, it feels like those interactions almost become even more valuable because they're more rare with AI being so involved. And I think I'm a big advocate of time and place for it. Absolutely. And I just think it's impossible to replace the human-to-human connection.
100%. Well, and I'm finding that, like, I use chat all the time. I don't even Google things anymore. Chat all the time. Chat's helping me decorate, helping me come up with meal ideas, all these things. But again, I'm using it as a tool, and I know where I'm using it and how I'm using it. But I'll take people and hanging out with people. Like, nothing can replace that. And that is still really, really important. And I've been hearing more and more how I think the generations coming up, or I'm hearing about how generations coming up are really burned out on social media and their phones. So there's starting to be like restaurants where you put your phones down, or they're just getting back to going outside and being outdoors and activities where they don't need phones. That's what I love about my kids. My kids half the time will just leave their phones, turn them off, whatever, and they're fine with that.
Yeah.
Way more healthy than me. Way more healthy. So yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. Like, I love AI. I love teaching and talking about it. But at the same time, I'm happy to go walk around in the woods with nothing.
Yeah.
So it's a tool. Again, it's like having a phone. It's like having the internet. We have AI. It's a tool.
So one of the things I really appreciated about your talk earlier this year was how I feel like you brought in my perspective on how to leverage this tool. I'm curious for you, what's the biggest way that AI has changed your life for the better?
Oh. Okay. Oh my gosh. That's a good question. How has it changed my life for the better? It's definitely saving time. So it's really cutting down on a lot of tasks and things that I do. And often, okay, you want to talk about going back to being perfectionist, where sometimes you can get stuck on what's the best way, the right way, the most perfect way to do something. And I can just go to chat and start. So at least start and say, okay, what do I do? Where do I go? How do I begin with? Um, I love telling people the example, like with Christmas decorating. Chat helped me with all my Christmas decorating. Because again, that whole perfectionist, and I know when something's not right, but I don't know how to get it right. And so I was just taking photos of like what I had set up on my buffet or a shelf. And I was like, okay, I know this isn't right. I can feel that it's not right, but I don't know how to fix it. And chat would be like, oh yeah, you need to bring in this, bring in something wooden, something. And then I would just take pictures and show chat. And chat was like, yeah, adjust this, move it a few more inches this way. Like, and for me as a perfectionist, then to have something where chat was like, all right, that's like 99% Pinterest worthy. That was great.
Mm.
So for someone like me, it's really helped with those things that would often put me into a spiral or, you know, kind of involve me for hours. And now chat's like, you're good.
Wow.
Or, you know, really difficult conversations because as humans, we're really emotional. And so even navigating things like with my youngest that cut us off. And if I need to communicate, I don't know how to take the emotion out, but chat does.
Mm.
So having chat help me with those kind of things that are normally so infused with emotion, so much better.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah.
All right. We've got to wrap up here. I've got a final question for you.
All right.
And I don't know why this is coming to me, but it is. I would love to hear from you. What's a truth that you feel like you really need to hear right now?
Wait, so like saying to myself or that I would say to you?
Saying to yourself. I mean, a truth that our listeners can absolutely benefit from, but something that maybe you need to hear yourself.
Oh, I don't know how I would put it into words, but it's that whole thought, the thought of, okay, so here's where I'm at right now. So we talk about self-talk all the time. I'm going to give you two truths, but not a lie. Two truths. So the first one is, and that I'm learning this all the time, there's more than enough. So this is what I tell others. This is part of my Be the Ferrari keynote, but it's in there because I say it to myself almost every day. Because I'm super competitive and we're often taught that there isn't enough. And it's this whole like, you got to compete, you got to hurry up, you got to scrounge for what's out there. So I walk around a lot going, there's more than enough. There's more than enough. There's more than enough for everybody. There's more than enough for there to be lots of speakers. There's more than enough for all of us to reach our goals. So I can just take a breath, calm down. There's more than enough. I don't have to run after everything or worry that I'm not going to get mine. Super important. So I tell myself that all the time. And then the second thing is realizing that it's okay to rest. Because I'm coming out of a time where I've been really, really busy, which is great. And now that I'm not as busy, it doesn't feel normal because my body and my brain got used to the chaos and the busy. So again, I do a lot of self-talk where I'm like, this is good, Paula. It's okay to have nothing on your calendar. Just take a deep breath. This is normal. Where you were wasn't normal. This is normal, even though it doesn't feel normal. So I often say it's like, if you've ever gone through an airport and they have the moving sidewalks, and when you're on one of those like moving escalators and you're going, and then all of a sudden you get off, that moment when you get off, you kind of trip because you're used to moving, and then all of a sudden it's not moving, and you're just like, oh, I feel like life is like that sometimes where you're like moving and you're busy, and then when it stops, you kind of, it's awkward because you're just like, oh, okay, now how do I readjust? And it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to have nothing. It's okay to do nothing today.
So powerful. What does ideal rest look like to you?
Not what it does for others. So I've had this conversation and people comment online a lot because for me, necessarily just sitting and doing nothing isn't fun.
Yeah.
Like sometimes for me, it's like, I need to paint this room. And for me, that's really fun and relaxing. Or I got to organize a closet. So I'm not necessarily sitting still, but for my brain, that's really good. So I'm not like, if I sit still, I can get bored. So even if I'm sitting still, like maybe I'm building something or I'm putting something together because I have to do that for my brain because my brain's always going. But honestly, perfect ideal scenario would be finding some park with lots of trees. Just get me around trees.
Really?
Oh, I love being outside. I love my feet in the dirt or in the grass and just get me around trees.
Wow. Fascinating.
And I'm happy.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
I love what you talked about, how your ideal rest doesn't look like it looks for everyone.
Yes.
When did you learn that about yourself?
Because people would always watch me and they're like, don't you ever stop? And I was like, but I don't, that's not fun for me. Realizing that necessarily just sitting down quietly and Zen moment, like that's not fun.
Yeah.
And really, it's taken a while to figure out what kind of gives me life, what fuels me, what is fun for me. And I like to do things I like to be doing. So I'm figuring it out, though. I'm a work in progress.
I love that, though. It really resonates for me. I think for a long time, you see so much about, like, just take a load off and, like, get into a show series. And, like, that's never felt meaningful to me. It doesn't refill my cup. It doesn't rejuvenate me. It doesn't do anything for my stress levels, where I'm much more I was smiling along with when you're like painting a room and organizing a closet. And I'm thinking, super fun to be married to. But like,
If my husband is not that, he can absolutely sit and do nothing. And we've had to have these conversations and negotiate this, where I'm just like, okay, sitting for all these hours, just sitting here, after a while, I get antsy. It's not fun. So can we just be in the house together? But realizing that, because I think sometimes there is this whole idea of what rest looks like, and it is different for everyone.
yes.
Just like some of us are introverts, some of us are extroverts.
Yes.
We like different food, people. Everybody's different. We have to understand it's the same for rest.
Yeah.
That looks different for people. It's not necessarily like your cup of coffee with a candle by the fireplace
Right.
and a little blanket and everything. It's like, okay, that looks beautiful, but I can do that for 5 minutes and then I'm like, okay, I'm done. So,
Yes. Or in mom culture, it's like, draw yourself a bath and like hang out in the bathtub for an hour. And I'm like, that sounds like torture.
right? Right. And knowing that it's okay, because when you're going, what's wrong with me that I don't want to
Right.
do that?
Right.
Or I think what happens is the flip side is people look at me and they'll say, oh, well, Paula's doing this or building this or fixing, organizing that. But that's me. That doesn't have to be you. So don't look at me and feel bad about yourself,
Yes.
because I look at people all the time and I see so many amazing qualities in them that I don't possess
Mhm.
and I love and I admire in them. And just knowing that it takes all
It
kinds.
takes all kinds.
Like we need everybody in their gifts. And that's what I love about networking, because I know what I'm good at and I know all the things I'm not good at. So I need the people in my world that are good at that.
Yes.
So I can bring them in to help me or help somebody else.
Yes. And when you can get in tune with your own needs and how do you best honor those, that isn't going to necessarily look like so-and-so down the block or so-and-so from that podcast. You can really take care of yourself, who you have your ultimate responsibility to taking care of. And then we can honor that it takes all kinds.
Yeah, that's what we need. That's why there's like so many flavors of ice cream and everything else. Like if it was only vanilla, boring. But we have all different kinds, and you need that with people. We need all different kinds of people to fill in all the gaps and doing all the things and to add color to life.
Yes, so good. Thank you so much for being here with
Thank
me
you.
today. And thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week on Leadership Matters.
Thanks for joining us for today's episode of Leadership Matters. If today's episode resonated with you, would you do me a favor and share it with someone you care about? To learn more about the work the Bailey Group is doing in the world, check us out at thebaileygroup.com or follow us over on LinkedIn. We love sharing useful articles, helpful resources, and valuable tools to help you expand your leadership capacity. Like and subscribe, and join us next time for more honest conversations.